Hey guys, thanks for watching the IDC daily videos. Today we're going to have a conversation with Rod and Tori, who are members of IDC that we're going to have the privilege of sending out around the world to go and make disciples, and just wanted to give them the opportunity to share with you guys about the journey that the Lord's had them on and tell us how we can pray for them, how we can come alongside with them and partner in this work. So thank you guys for taking the time to come and share with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
Glad to
having
be here.
us.
Yeah. Why don't you just start with telling us a little bit about yourselves for those who might not know you, maybe where you're from, how you guys met, that kind of thing. Just orient us a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, so to start, I grew up here, in the States, and, I grew up in a family that's from the Middle East. And so I grew up in a Muslim household, but when I went to college, I found Jesus and started to follow him. And then shortly after, the Lord just put on my heart to share with people, from my country and also just the unreached. And that's something now we've been pursuing, for a while.
Excellent.
I'm from Alabama. Born and raised, went to the University of Alabama, which
Roll Tide.
is, yes, Roll Tide. That's where Rod and I met. We had an English class together, and we actually met again coming back from our first trips overseas.
Okay.
So that's kind of a cool part of our
Both
story.
of your first trips.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So met at the University of Alabama, and then probably 3 years later, we started dating and got married.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So for you as well, was going overseas kind of long term? Was that a desire that the Lord had already given you, or is that something that's kind of grown maybe since you guys met or in recent years? Or
Yeah, so in college was where I started feeling called to go overseas. That came through just a wonderful college ministry where the pastor himself was preparing to go overseas.
Awesome.
A group of girls read The Insanity of God together, so that was a huge part of it. And then just taking short-term trips kind of led to develop that. And that was all before Rod and I started dating.
Okay, very
We
cool.
actually met more doing international ministry together in college, so we kind of crossed paths a lot doing that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about that, because you guys have been, you talked about having this burden just to share with other Muslims. Like, has that been kind of the focus of you guys' ministry and outreach and a lot of your, I guess maybe ministry together and just since then? Because that's, we'll talk about this in a second, but that's where the Lord is taking you guys. But tell us some of the experience you've had already in that kind of ministry.
Yeah, so it's been about 5 years since we graduated college, and throughout that time, we've been able to be a part of some really great ministries here in the States. So we interned at an Iranian church in Denver for a couple years, and then I've just been a part of some local ministry with Persians here. Okay. And so, we've had, been blessed with the opportunity to be doing that for a few years now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the Lord's had you guys on this journey, and you came out here. Was it to go to seminary?
Yes.
Okay, that's
yes.
like the reason why you guys moved here. Finished with school, both of you guys. And what did you do?
I have like 21 hours
Okay, cool.
credits. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
did a little bit.
So you guys are done with school, and now it's time to kind of turn your sights. You're looking to go overseas. Tell us kind of what that journey's been like. That you guys are on a plan now, so to maybe tell us what the plan is as it is right now. Where's the Lord taking you?
Sure. So we were preparing to go overseas with the IMB, and we're planning to do that for many years, actually. And, ever since we started seminary and everything like that. We were in the middle of the application process, and I started having some health issues that resulted in me getting diagnosed with Crohn's disease. When that happened, we didn't get medical clearance with the IMB, and so really prayed about what we should do next. If that meant a closed door, you guys at IDC were incredible during that time. That was really tough for us, and we felt like through that the Lord was really saying, no, it's not a closed door, that He wanted us to go a different route, and so that route now that we've been pursuing is fundraising.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's what we've been doing now for the last little bit.
And what do you guys hope to kind of leave? When do you hope to go?
We're hoping for right after the holidays, so
Okay.
December, January, potentially.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. That pivot from going through an organization where a lot is funded to still partnering with them, but having to raise your own support has been a challenging one in some ways. What are some of the things you guys feel like the Lord has taught you guys even over the last few months as you've been wrestling through, again, is this a closed door? Do we need to keep pursuing this? What's that been like?
I'll say for me personally, I was not excited at all about fundraising. I didn't want to do it at first, but you know, the more we've done it, I have absolutely loved it. Just getting, you know, I know everybody that gets sent overseas, you know, they are connected to their local body, but you know, the fact that we've had to rely so much on those here, you know, I think it allows us to really just have that connection with people here, but also for people to see, you know, how their giving directly is going to, you know, a family to be able to serve. I think it's a cool way that I feel like we've been mutually able to serve one another, us and people supporting us. And that's something we're honestly very passionate about. We really want people to see what we're doing as a part of their outreach too, if they're supporting us. You know, we that means a lot to us, definitely.
Amen. And so far the Lord's provided and is providing, I guess, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would say for just what we've learned is where all good things come from. It's not necessarily the IMB, but it is the Lord. So I think for us, you know, going the fundraising route, we've just been like daily reminded that it's the Lord who's providing. He's a generous Father. And daily we're having, you know, faith is getting increased by having these conversations and relying on Him to bring in the funds, not necessarily, and I know this is the same, like He's still providing the funds for the IMB, but it's more, feels very much more personal now. But yeah, He's been very generous. We've been super blessed just with such encouraging, generous people so far.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you guys are going. Tell us, I know you can't give tons of specifics or whatnot, but tell us generally where you're going and then what you guys are going to be doing while you're there.
Sure. So we're going to be going to a Central Asian country very close to the country that we feel called to work with.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because the country that we feel called is very hostile towards the gospel, and there was just no safe way for us to do it, to get in there and then to do ministry that we felt like was going to be effective. And so we found a team in Central Asia that's focused on work inside of that country, which is really our passion. And so, you know, we're going to be there, and our focus, mine in particular, is going to be working with the follow-up team that meets with Persians, you know, that they're coming out and maybe they hear the gospel, something like that. And when they go back in, I'll be part of that follow-up team to make sure that they're, you know, getting discipled, a part of community, stuff like that. Inside the country.
Excellent. So you're going to be working with people that hear the gospel in one country, they go back to another country, and you're going to be helping them kind of from afar to continue in faithfulness, right?
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. And Tori, your life is going to look at least a little bit different in terms of rhythms. Obviously, you guys are partnering together. What's it going to look like for you?
Yeah, so so Rod already knows Farsi, which is a huge leg up in the game, but we'll both go in having to learn Turkish.
Okay.
And so part of our day will be language learning, and for myself, after I learn Turkish, I'll have to start learning Farsi. Okay. So that's probably going to be like 5 years of language learning. Okay. But more specifically, I have Lord's just been super gracious in providing an opportunity at an international school there. So I have a background in special education, and it's been a huge need so there's like 5 families on this team, and 3 of them have recently had kids that have been diagnosed with special needs. And schools in Central Asia are very different than schools here, so if you have special needs, they're going to want you to go to a different school for children with special needs. So those families obviously don't want that. We, you know, want our kids to be included as much as possible. So me going over and having this role as a special ed teacher at this international school is going to allow those families to keep their kids in the school. So just huge way to serve the team, continue, you know, using the gifts that the Lord's given me. And it's also just a huge logistical help because it provides work visa, insurance, a legit platform to be there. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it.
Was that always part of the plan? Like you've been trained, like you've got education, you got background in special education. Like, did you always kind of have a clear idea of how the Lord was going to use that, or is this something that kind of came along a lot later?
No, it really came along because, you know, we didn't get medical clearance, and so we were looking at going the job route before we looked at going the fundraising route. Okay. So in us pursuing jobs, I always wanted to use, you know, that experience because, you know, kids in Middle Eastern and Central Asian countries are very much underserved. So I wanted to use that as a way to serve families there, but I didn't think it would be in such a formal capacity. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I just love that kind of convergence of all of
Definitely.
you guys, like many gifts, and then they
Yeah.
kind of are getting to come together, and you can
Yeah.
use those and leverage those
Yeah.
for the sake of the gospel. And so we're really, really excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going hopefully kind of towards the end of this year. We'll hope to be fully funded. Just as we kind of look forward, what are some ways that we as a church can be praying for you guys, especially in this next couple of months? What are some really specific ways that the church family can come alongside you guys and just cry out to the Lord on your behalf?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think obviously with just us getting financial support, so finding ministry partners, which that's probably obvious here, you can always pray for our marriage. Obviously, when we're preparing to do something like this, Satan is going to try to attack in all ways possible. By God's grace, we've been doing really well, but you can always
Sure.
pray for our marriage. What do you say?
Yeah, I would say that. Just be and pray for us about fundraising those things, and obviously we would love to connect with anybody, you know what I mean, who wants to hear more. But yeah, the big things that we would ask is just to ask God to provide, and then to prepare our hearts for what's next.
Excellent, excellent. How can folks be praying for maybe the work on the ground? What do you guys hope? Do you have clarity about kind of like what you're hoping to see once you get there? Obviously, language learning and all that is a big part of it, but any big desires or big requests that we can be praying for as we partner in kind of that work?
Yeah. I would say, and maybe just a little background too. I don't know if I'm backtracking here, but on the country that we're working in, not living in. So it is the fastest growing country in the Middle East right now. It's still about 1% reached, but it has a 20% growth rate. So that's amazing. The gospel is spreading very quickly there. There's still about 90% of the people groups there are unreached. So tons of people are coming to know Jesus, but because it's spreading so quickly and the resources are very slim there, it's growing very shallow.
Okay.
So I would say, praying for especially the 12 guys that Rod's going to be leading in that follow-up team, just for their own, spiritual health and well-being, as they're reaching into the people in the country. That would be a huge prayer, so that those in the major cities in the country can then go into those unreached groups that we have no access to.
Yeah.
So good.
And I would just add on to that, just pray for growth and discipleship with those believers that are coming to Christ, because it's been so fast. Like Tori was saying, it's there's not been a lot of depth all the time, spiritual depth, and because of that, a lot of false gospels have come in, and really confused people. Stuff like Jesus only movement, Jehovah's Witnesses, these other kinds of movements are really have a stronghold there. So be praying that the Lord in truth is what people are seeing.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Neat to see kind of like this New Testament kind of experience happening there, where the church is kind of spreading out, but it's like, okay, now we got all these things that we got to shore up in a lot of ways, and so awesome that you guys all have a opportunity and an ability to kind of come alongside those believers. Okay, so hopefully and possibly, I guess, some of our members or anybody watching this might desire to kind of partner with you guys financially. What does it look like if somebody wants to do that? Is that a monthly thing? Is it a one-time thing? Like how can people do that?
Yeah. I would say our biggest need right now is definitely the monthly partner.
Okay.
That's where we've seen that we have a lot of need. But as far as how to do that and what that looks like, we would just love to connect and talk more about it. We, like I said, really want to have a personal relationship with everybody that's supporting us, because we want them to be a part of what we're doing. And so would love to just connect with anyone that's interested, tell them more about it, and obviously include them on our prayer list and everything like that as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to share. We're so excited about being able to partner with you guys, be able to kind of launch you guys out, but to ongoingly kind of be partners in this gospel work, and really excited to see how the Lord uses you, grows you guys, continues to work in your lives, but also makes disciples through you guys. So thank you for your faithfulness and being models and encouragements and challenge to the faith family here to live our lives, whether we go, whether we partner with, or whether we are just staying in all those spheres, really getting to leverage our lives similarly for the sake of the gospel. So really, really thankful for that. IDC family, if you would like to connect with Rod and Tori, obviously you can look up in our directory and connect with them. If you'd like to just go ahead and jump on and be able to give, we'll have in the description of this video the link to where you can sign up to contribute to sending them overseas. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or to them, and we'll be happy to give you more information. Thank you guys, and thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.